Hey, Razzball, how are you? It's Nick Capozzi. Monday, June 2nd. Hope you had a good weekend, and we've got a jam-packed week for you. It's going to be really exciting because there's a lot going on, of course, in fantasy, but we've also got the MLB rookie draft happening this week, so that we're going to try and rope in some of our youngling experts, if you will. But leading off today, of course, it's Monday, so you know we're talking to the one, the only. He's not just lovely, he's also talented, Gray Albright. What's up, Gray?
What's up, playa?
Not too much, man. My phone's ringing off the hook, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Who
Yeah.
you calling? You got people calling you in for trades?
You know what? It's okay. So let's actually lead off with that. We talked a lot about pet peeves last week, and you know the thing that really cheeses me off? Would you say I'm an easygoing guy, Gray?
I actually have a pet peeve for you too, but I don't know if you're easygoing. You seem it. It's hard to say. I mean, I only get to talk to you for 20 minutes every other day, so
All right. I generally am a pretty easygoing guy. It takes a lot to tick me off. But here's a pet peeve of mine.
isn't Canadians in general really easygoing?
Yeah, we're pretty easygoing. So here's what really bothers me. A guy, let's just say he plays in the Waldrick Keeper League,
Yeah.
accepts a trade verbally. Yeah, it's a done deal. My team's been terrible this year, so I fire sale mode. I'm looking for up and coming prospects. I got Polanco this weekend. I already had Tavares. Verbally accepts a trade, doesn't accept it. Hey Mulls, why? Oh, sorry, did I say his name? Why haven't you accepted yet? Yeah, no, I'm busy. I'm running errands. Okay, no problem. Other offers coming in for you, Darvish. Hey Mulls, why haven't you accepted yet? I had to. My password for ESPN was wrong. I'm Nick. This morning, Mulls, what's the deal? You know what? I don't think I'm getting enough in the deal.
Hmm.
You verbally accepted. Makes me crazy.
Yeah. I
So
have something that makes me crazy. I have a lot of things that make me crazy,
yeah,
actually.
we know.
One thing that in particular that makes me crazy is when you send someone a trade and they don't even respond to it. That really drives me crazy.
Did that happen recently?
I sent you a trade and I never heard back.
I apologize. You know what? I'm in so many leagues this year. It's tough to manage.
Oh, that's terrible.
All
That is
right.
a terrible excuse.
I got no excuses.
You know what? I sent you a trade for who did I send you a trade for that ended up
Oh,
not so well for you?
yeah, yeah, it was terrible. I think I don't respond when it's a terrible offer occasionally because I'm too busy trying to produce Razzball Radio.
Julio Tehran for Prince Fielder, like about 3 weeks ago, before Prince Fielder was injured for the season, right?
Can we
And
drop that?
wait, what happened to Prince Fielder? I'm putting you on trial right
All
now.
right. He had neck surgery.
Okay, he did have neck surgery. So then I sent you a trade on Thursday for Robinson Cano. And what is now happening to Robinson Cano?
He's hurt.
Oh, okay. So do you think there's some sort of correlation between me sending you trades and these players no longer wanting to play for your team?
You know what? You offered me Cliff Pennington and Jeff Samardzija.
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. It was a terrible offer though. You offered me Alex Gordon, Rafael Soriano, and someone else for Cano.
And someone else. That is correct.
How many homers does Alex Gordon have?
So when Cano says that he has a broken bone in his hand and he can't play for the rest of the season, how bad is this non-response to my trade offer going to look for you?
All right. You want to continue on this track?
Better yet, would you prefer Julio Tehran right now or Prince Fielder on your DL for the whole season? Just asking.
So after, and this just happened in the last 15 minutes that Mulls backed out of his deal.
I'm not finished yet. So that says to me, no trade is really that bad because you don't know what's going to happen. You're not sure. So you could respond to a trade and say, listen, Mr. Albright, sir, I appreciate the offer. At this point in time, I'm not going to accept that trade. But how about if you threw in, I don't know, Longoria? You could then counter, or you could say, Mr. Albright, sir, I'm not going to do any trading with you, but I appreciate you keep sending me amazing offers for my players.
All right, great. You know what? I do owe you an apology. I should have replied to you, so I am sorry. And I just made a note for my intern, who I don't have yet. But if I ever get an intern, there's a note. Always respond, especially to Gray's trade offers. Done. Okay? I wrote it down in black marker.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
so just quickly, when Mulls again backed out of the trade offer, what I did this morning was I'd been a lot of talks for you Darvish over the weekend. I put up in the last 15 minutes 6 different offers. One got accepted right away. I gave up Matt Kemp. Again, it's 10 keepers, and I have quite a few, but I gave up Kemp, who I don't know how to judge anymore, and you Darvish, and I picked up Freddie Freeman, and I'm pretty excited about that. What do you think about that deal?
Yeah, that's a good trade. I mean, I can see it going either way. I mean, I don't think there's, some trades are more obvious than others. But like for instance, I saw someone in the forums in the Razzball forums today talking about how they can't believe that they traded Jose Abreu for Edwin Encarnacion a month ago, right before Encarnacion started going off.
Right.
At the time, I would have said, you know what, I want Abreu too. That's a good trade. But a month later, things happen. So right now, I'd say that trade is fair, maybe a little bit to your side, but anything could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't go dancing around in your celebratory toga just yet.
No, I'm not, and I don't have a celebratory toga. Unless there's a celebratory toga .com company out there that wants to advertise on the show.
You don't? Oh, if we get a sponsor. If we have a celebratory toga sponsor who's listening right now, who'd like to sponsor the Razzball TV on the radio.
Yeah, and actually, I keep getting comments on the sherbet. This is the actual term, sherbet colored shirts I wear. I mean, I like a little bit of pop of color, especially with the dark studio here. So if there's any sherbet t-shirt companies out there, I'm listening.
I got a question for you,
Sure.
Mr. Capozzi. When you walk into a store, do you say, "Where are your sherbet shirts"? Are they shirt? Are they shirt birds? It's a store that just sells sherbet-colored shirts, or is it one store that has a section for sherbet-colored shirts?
Uh,
How does it work? I'm curious. I want to know where I could go to get my own sherbet-colored shirt. Can I ask you about my weekend?
how was your weekend? Actually, before you get into the weekend, I bet you there was a big party in LA because, sorry, quick move away from baseball here. Hockey, the LA Kings made it to the Stanley Cup final last night, so it's going to be LA versus New York.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. How was your weekend?
I didn't know there was a team. Do we have a team?
How was your weekend?
LA Kings? Is that a gang in South Central? I don't know about an LA Kings organization.
They are arguably one of the top 2 or 3 organizations in hockey right now. That's the sport that they play on ice. I know you're in LA, so although they had a really cool outdoor game this year in LA.
I knew about it because Cougar, my lovely Cougar, is in Chicago right now, and she called me last night. She said she was watching the Kings and the Blackhawks. And I was like, so? Why are you telling me you're watching a hockey game? Or is it a hockey match? I don't even know. And then she's like, no, it's an important game that's going on, right? I'm like, doesn't mean anything to me. Let's talk sex talk over the phone. I have no idea what you're talking about. So I knew that they were playing, but still means nothing.
All right, so you got the house yourself. How was your weekend?
Good. So I went to an engagement party on Saturday, right?
Without Cougs?
Yeah, of course. She's out of town, of course, without food.
All right.
What are we doing? You doing exposition? so I go to this party that I'm not expecting much. Not I think it's an engagement party, so it's like, okay, family, maybe a few friends, whatever. The party is up in the hills, first. Second, you get to the party and you park in a parking lot about a mile away, and they had 1949 Cadillacs there to drive you to the actual party.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, this might be better than your average engagement party. So they drive you up. The house is it's immense. It's about, I'd say, 30,000 square feet,
Holy cow.
10 to 12 rooms, uh, insane, like art, like original, like Warhols, Liechtensteins, like really insane. So I'm going around, and there's a crab bar of Alaskan king crab. So I'm like, so I park myself there. The sushi girl's walking around with trays of sushi. I'm like, this is the best party I've ever been to in my life.
Who's getting married? Can you tell us? Who you rolling with, buddy?
I know. So that's what I'm getting to. So I stop stuffing my mouth and I start talking to someone, and I'm like, whose house is this anyway? So it turns out the house's owner is the daughter of the of Mark Goodson, who created Price is Right, Family Feud,
Wow.
Connect, Win, Lose, or Draw, every game show for like 25 years.
Sure, Mark Good's in production. Even I know that.
Exactly. It was insane. Seriously, they hired dancers. There was a DJ and a band, and I didn't even have to dance, even though I can dance. I didn't have to because they hired people. I was like, this is amazing. This is the best night of my life.
All right, we got a lot of fantasy baseball coming up on the show today. But just before we go to break, I want to talk about arguably the greatest professional hitter in the history of not just baseball, but all bat and ball games, Oscar Taveras. Is he a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh yeah. They're actually the Veterans Committee is talking about just doing away with the whole retiring thing and just putting him in the Hall of Fame right now.
All right. Obviously, you led the column today, the rundown at Razzball.com with Oscar the Grouch. I don't know. We got to work on a nickname for him.
Great.
Actually, someone had there was a great picture going around the Twitterverse this weekend. It was Oscar the Grouch wearing a Cards cap. I love it. How good is Oscar Taveras?
I'm sure someone's already thought of this or has done the image. They also have Waka. So it's Waka 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 and Oscar the Great. Right.
What can we expect from Oscar, the greatest hitter of all time, rest of the season?
I say, first of all, you should pick him up in every league.
Yes.
I mean, that's a given, I think, for sure. If he was probably already owned because he is the top prospect coming in. And I don't know. I mean, you could get, say, what Will Myers gave last year. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like expectations are like, okay, well, this guy's going to save my season. He's going to hit 20 homers a month for the next 4 months, and everything will be fine. But in reality, I mean, he is probably just going to be at best a number 2 outfielder, which is really good. Don't get me wrong. Or at worst, maybe a 4. So I would look in the range of about maybe 10 to 15 homers, 5 to 10 steals, good counting stats, and
Great average.
yeah, I like him a lot. I think on Razzball I mentioned how he reminds me of a young Vladimir Guerrero, and I think before Vladimir's knees started acting like Mama from Mama's Family. It was, he's quick. He's got a great bat. He could probably, as of next year, he'll probably go in around the 5th or 6th round, like Will Myers this year, and see how well that turned out.
Absolutely, but the guy is a pure hitter, and I think one thing you can always count on him for is going to be average, and I think that's what's going to separate him from guys like Will Myers. Okay, great. We'll be right back after this break. We're going to talk about the Super 2 deadline approaching and who else might get called up in the near future right after this. And we're back. Gray, I missed you, buddy, on the break. Even though we're still not friends because I didn't call you about your fire.
No, no, you didn't call me. You texted me K. It's like, I'm looking for the letter after J and before L. Who should I call for that? I know, Nick. He's got a K.
If I could only strike out batters. So June is here. Super 2 status usually the last few years has been kind of mid-June. Super 2, of course, is has to do with the agreement with the Players Association. Certain players lose basically a year of arbitration. Google it. But this is something in fantasy, obviously, and of course baseball, we've been talking about for quite a while. You talked that Tavares was a top prospect coming up, and he should have been stashed. Polanco now, Gregory Polanco from Pittsburgh, should be stashed as well. Is he the next guy that we're going to see Super 2 wise?
Um, yeah, probably. I would say the problem with Super Two, the whole arbitration and whether or not players go earlier and if they're called up, it's a similar issue to like so many other problems with baseball with like the draft being spread out over the whole country and you can't. It's not like centralized. The Super Two thing, I would fix baseball by having it be June 5th or make a date because
Right.
right now there's no rhyme or reason when someone's Super Two status starts or ends or whatever. It's like it's so amorphous. You have no one has any idea what the hell Super Two status even means. I mean, people study this stuff, who work for the baseball teams, and they're still like, I think you bring him up on June 16th. I think that's when his status rolls. It's really ridiculous. But yeah, Polanco, I believe it will be the next person. But technically, Tavares wasn't really due for, I think, another week, and he came up early, which actually could mean the Cardinals could send him down for a week, I think, or 10 days for the Super 2 thing again, and then bring him back. Like, it's very strange how this whole thing works. But, yeah, Polanco I like. John Singleton I like a lot. He should have been brought up already. Andrew Heaney at the Marlins pitcher. Yeah, there's a few.
And okay, let's just say hypothetically Polanco, just because he's the buzzy name right now. If Polanco got called up, let's just say today even, what would you expect from Polanco rest of the season?
Polanco is he's another guy. He's probably like Tavares, but not quite as great on the average. He's also. I mean, for 3.5, 4 months, you have players where now just Polanco over the course of 5 years, it's a huge sample size, and you could say, okay, well that's what he could be over that course of time. And versus Tavares. But over 3 or 4 months, Polanco could be better than Tavares this year. So I would grab Polanco because he's got a great bat too. He's definitely worth stashing in every league rather than trying to rush to waivers when he's finally called up. He's another guy who could be another a number 2 outfielder right this season.
Okay, you mentioned earlier Will Myers. Obviously has the wrist injury now. Is this value killed for the season just because of the problems that wrist injuries can cause in terms of power hitters? Also, too, and even go on a little bit on Will the Thrill because I don't know if the problem is he's playing in that carnivorous stadium in Tampa Bay, but Will Myers hasn't been what we thought he'd be so far.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, well, Jason Hayward homered in his first major league at bat.
Yes, he did.
Such a disappointment. I mean, he looked like he was going to be Tavares before Tavares, So it's like it's hard to say exactly where these, And then you have a guy who like Jason Kipnis, who hasn't had a great season so far, but for the last 2 years he has been great, and he came virtually out of nowhere. It was like Jason Kipnis wasn't on anyone's radar, so it's hard to say sure things and all this. But Will Myers does have a lot of talent, and right now, he's getting a little bit unlucky with balls in play, so his average should be higher. Right now it's at 2.27, No relation to Marla Gibbs, and he and he's more of a 275 hitter. So that he's having some bad luck, and he's got great power. He's got some speed. I like Will Myers a lot, but yeah, like you said, with the wrist injury, if it's hard to say as of right now as we're taping this because I haven't heard an update from. He was going to see a wrist specialist, so it depends on what the doctor says. Really, I have no clue. It could be anywhere from like, oh, it's just a it's a contusion, and he's going to be back in 15 days, no worries. Or he has, a broken bone that they just found, and now he's going to be sidelined for 3 months, and his power could be zapped for 10 to 18 months. I mean, it's really hard to say at this point, but wrist injuries are scary, and hopefully, Will Myers is going to be fine because I own him on team, so I'm selfishly hoping for the best.
All right, there was a lot of buzz this weekend. Ruby De La Rosa had a great start for the Red Sox. A lot of buzz. A lot of guys picking him up in leagues and trying to flip him in ridiculous trade offers. Um, I know you talked about it already over the weekend, but is he a mixed league pickup?
No, I don't think so. Not yet. I mean, yeah, in 15 team and deeper, yeah, deeper mixed leagues. Okay, I could see that. But in most mixed leagues, like 12 and under, like Chuck E. Cheese, yeah, I wouldn't say he is. He's more of a deeper league guy right now because he's a little bit wild. His control isn't there yet. Even though he did pitch very well against the Rays, but like you said, the Rays have been struggling. So I would say I would want to see more before I started picking him up in all leagues.
Just from a baseball perspective, because you brought up the Rays again, and it's first time in a while. I mean, they were terrible from their beginnings, but then they've been, arguably the model baseball franchise with the Cardinals last couple of years. You think David Price gets moved before the trade deadline?
Uh, no, I don't think so.
They're going to
Uh,
hold him.
I don't. I think the Rays are fascinating because Madden is really like a mad scientist with his lineups. Like there's not much made of it. At least I don't follow the Rays like team specific. I'm more about the players. So I don't know. Maybe the team blogs are talking about this, but I don't think so. And it's really bizarre to me that someone like Matt Joyce, for instance, can be their three-hole hitter for half of the games, and then he's the nine-hole hitter on other games. Like, where else do you have a team where the three-hole hitter is moved to the bottom of the line? Like, that's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
you're right. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, like in other teams, like there'd be a big deal made about like Miggy batting third or batting ninth, like what? And the fact that Matt Joyce is their three-hole hitter is kind of scary. I mean, obviously Joyce isn't on any level with Miggy, but I think it just says a lot about a team where like Madden is just his lineup is so fluid. I would venture like if someone had like maybe 3 days of their time that they wanted to waste as opposed to 6 years of me doing Razzball. No, if someone really had some extra time and or somehow if they could figure out who has more, non-consistent lineups, who has changed their lineup more than Madden in the history of baseball. I mean, you really say like, okay, well, Escobar's their leadoff hitter today, and now he's their seventh hitter. Tomorrow he's their fifth hitter. Like you have no idea from day to day. Like it's like, what's Joel Madden doing today? I don't know. He's batting someone first through ninth, but you have no idea who that player is.
Yeah, but it worked before this year.
Oh yeah, no, he's brilliant. He's like the mad. That's what I'm saying. Like mad scientists are crazy, but they are brilliant. I'm not taking anything away from Madden. I think he's really one of the better managers in the major leagues. But it's just like, why is this guy batting second now? I don't know, but it worked up until this year. It's just they're having some bad luck right now. I think they had some injuries and now Myers. So we'll see.
All right. You have been yelling and screaming all year to trade Samardzija. You didn't like him coming into the year. He got off to a great start, got roughed up. Looks like the regression fairies might be making a phone call to him. Um, Obviously, we're still selling Samardzija, but which arm? Give me another arm that you're thinking might soon get a call from the regression fairies that you would try and sell now.
Oh, well, I mean, like with any trade, I would really look at to see. It's more dependent on what you need and what you can get. So if someone thinks Julio Teheran, who I love, but he's not an under two ERA guy. I mean, if someone really thinks he's an under two ERA guy and will give you someone like Longoria, who is struggling right now, I would take Longoria for Tehran in a second. I mean, you always want the bat. In 9 times out of 10, and all things being equal, and any other cliche you could think of,
In a vacuum.
bat over the arm, always.
Of course.
Sonny Gray is another guy who's like, you can just go through like pitchers. Anyone who's pitching under a 2.5, if they're not Kershaw, Darvish, there's like a Tanaka. Even I think Tanaka might be a 2.5 ERA pitcher, which is crazy since you traded him for Kemp. Oh my
You
God!
need some smelling salts there, buddy?
I want to see aneurysm. Crazy.
What about Chris Sale in that? You put Chris Sale into that mix?
Yeah, Chris Sale, I'm totally concerned about because more about injuries. I think he's also a guy who he has great stuff. He could be a top 10, maybe even 5 starter
Yep.
on the year, but his injury concerns really it's a worry. I think I would definitely look at trading him for a bat if I could do it.
Let me throw another name at you that we haven't talked about so far this year. Catcher for the Mariners, third pick overall a couple years ago, Mike Zunino. Quietly has 7 home runs. The average isn't there. I think he's hitting 227. But he's got 7 home runs playing in Seattle, which is, not terrible. I know catcher's, kind of a punt position, especially this year, a lot of depth. What are your thoughts on Mike Zunino long term?
Uh, Long term, as in this year, or long term, as in the next 3 years?
Let's give me both.
This
Why not?
year, I would say he's a top 10 catcher, probably a 17 homer guy with maybe a 255 ish average. Nothing terrific. Nothing that you probably can't replace in most shallower mixed leagues, one catcher leagues. If he gets cold, I mean, he's decent. I mean, he's not bad necessarily. I think until I see someone really like break out, I'm not a catcher at least. I'm not really that excited. It's hard to get excited about catchers. I think because it's why I even say always the punt catcher, because you have the top say 12th best catcher is around a 17 homer, 260 average guy.
Right.
And then you have the top 3 catcher is around a 22 homer, 275 guy. So you have they're really close between there's not a huge difference between a top 3 catcher and a top 12 catcher.
Okay, so now give me next 3 years for Zunino.
A guy who becomes the number 1 catcher in the game. He has great talent. He's capable of getting up to a 27 to 30 homer guy with a 270, 285 average. I think he could even hit higher than that. He might hit 300. He's someone who has always been a top prospect, and he's got a great bat. I definitely like him a lot in keepers.
All right. What? Someone calling you? Who's that?
It's my ringer. Hold on.
Actually, you know what? What? We're going to go to break. Why don't you take that call? We'll be right back after this. We'll go through a lot more names with Gray here in the final segment today on Razzball Radio. Who called you, Gray? Who was it?
It was someone. I can't take it right now. Leave me alone.
That's the problem with the short breaks. You only got time to go fill up your vape juice.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through some names here that are on the tips of people's tongues. Kendrys Morales. I'm just throwing it out there. Just saying Kendrys Morales.
Okay.
Go with it.
Just go with it.
What's his story this year?
Well, the Yankees, I think, are always a favorite to get anyone. Anytime they can, sign an aging slugger, you always got. You can't ever count the Yankees out. I think he's 30 years old according to his player page, but I think that's a Latin 30, and he's probably more like 37 years old. I don't see how that guy is 30, and he looks old enough to be my father, to be totally honest with you. Kendrys, is that you calling?
Why hasn't he signed with anyone yet?
Maybe he was asking too much. I think. I'm not privy to the negotiations. I think.
You mean you're not in the room with Morales' agent?
Yeah. No. I think he's probably a 15 to 20 homer guy for the. If he were to start playing tomorrow, he could be. He could be a good corner infielder. Even if you're really struggling, first baseman maybe. I think he could be like a guy who, it depends on where he ends up, obviously, but maybe at worst a 14 to 16 homer guy, probably maybe a little bit better. I mean, he doesn't give you much. He doesn't give you anything else. It's kind of like maybe. I'd say Konerko 3 years ago. That sort of idea. So you have a guy who gives you power and a little bit of average, a little bit above average, and then some counting stats, but no steals or anything. So, he's station to station. He's got no speed. If he hits a game-winning homer, he breaks his hip. It's kind of thing.
Hey, how come you got no love for Tanner Rourke?
Not much K's.
Why are you anti-K? Or why are you so pro-K that you're anti-Kers?
I think because of the text you sent me where it was just saying K. I've suddenly turned against anyone who because I love that text so much. I was like, I need K's.
All right, but Tim Hudson, not a lot of K's there, but I mean, he's having a phenomenal year.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, obviously he's not that good. It's a small sample. I mean, the sample size is getting bigger, but it's a small sample size as of right now with an under 2 ERA. That's obscenely lucky. He could be a 4.5 ERA guy. And he, from now until the end of the season, it wouldn't surprise me. I think he is, he's someone who you got to really. I mean, you're not going to be. I don't think you could trade anyone. I don't think anyone really buys it. So you just ride it. You ride it out until it, it comes home. What? You ride it out until it comes home. That's my new favorite saying. Ride it out until it comes home.
You should put that in the glossary.
Yeah, that's my bumper sticker.
Hey, you know what my new favorite baseball name is? Yeah. Scooter Gennett.
Scooter. I know. Actually, my ex-writing partner, his nickname was Scooter.
Yeah, he's on my best baseball name team along with Quackenbush and Falou.
Yeah, Quackenbush is good too. I love a good Quackenbush. You have to wear protection though with the Quackenbush. I was so So the story starts off with me in Tijuana, and there's this Quackenbush.
So the Houston Astros, especially if John Singleton gets called up, I mean, again, we've talked about this a couple times. They become very fantasy relevant. Matt Dominguez with another home run over the weekend. He's always had power, not a lot of average, but a pretty good defensive third baseman. Any thoughts on Matt Dominguez going forward? Is he a
Uh,
corner man for you?
yeah, definitely. Especially right now, I'm struggling for power. So that's my sad face. Pretty good, huh? I've been taking acting lessons. Uh, yeah, Dominguez. Oddly enough, I feel like he only homers on Sundays, and I think it has something to do with his last name. I don't know. It's a little bizarre. You might want to go by Matt Lopez today.
Or maybe just Matt Diaz?
Yeah. Oh my God, I love Matt Diaz. Love Matt Diaz. I miss him. Like seriously,
uh,
it
speaking of,
hurts my soul how much I miss Matt Diaz.
so a lot of buzz right now about Stephen Drew signed with the Red Sox, of course. I don't get it because he hasn't been fantasy relevant in a long time. I think it's a lot of, there's just a lot of Red Sox fans out there that I think play fantasy baseball.
It's Matt Diaz, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I was going for Diaz, like, day,
Oh
Matt,
yeah.
or I don't know how to say every in Spanish. How do you say every in Spanish? Every.
Um,
Toro?
every yo. I took
Matt Toro Diaz?
13 years of Spanish, so you could ask me any word, I could make it Spanish.
Baseball.
Baseball.
So Stephen Drew, Holt has been fantastic for the Red Sox right now. I'm sure
Mexico.
I'm sure when Drew is ready, there's no chance that Holt kind of keeps the gig there. But we're not expecting anything from Stephen Drew, right?
Oh God, no, no. I would if he was available right now in 15-team league. I would. Well, actually, he was in my in Tout Wars. Was it Tout Wars? Yeah, I think in Tout Wars I was debating Dominga. I'm still yesterday right now. I was debating Drew and Cozart. I just went with Cozart.
Oh, Cozart. Ugh.
Yeah, but compared to Drew,
Actually, when you go on the Hittertron, if you look at worst matchup every day, Cozart's like the one guy that is actually owned, that is kind of in that top 10 or 15 of just worst plays. How you doing in Tout Wars, by the way?
what?
How you doing in Tout Wars?
You got a horse outside? What'd you say?
How are you doing in Tout Wars?
Oh, not good. No, here I'll give you. No, seriously, I'll because it's not fair to me to just say not good. I'm gonna tell you why.
Tell me why.
Fielder.
Prince Fielder.
I'm not done. Turco. Oh,
Don't have another aneurysm.
oh man. God, these players. Matt Wieters. You name any player who has been out for longer than 2 weeks, or has played like they haven't even started playing. My team is it's a mess.
Did you have anyone good on that team?
I have Julio Teheran and Alex Cobb. Well, Alex Cobb missed a month, but I have Julio Teheran. Of course, I have him in every league.
Right.
I have Yasiel Puig. My team doesn't look terrible. I just got a trade offer actually from Scott Engel, and he wanted Puig for Cueto, and I was actually considering it, but I can't trade Puig. He's like my only bat. It's just
Plus,
God.
Cueto can't keep up what he's done so far.
Yeah, no, it's not good. I think I'll tell you, Segura, who hasn't played up to par.
Right.
I have Hosmer.
Oy.
I mean, seriously.
When are we
Oh,
giving up? When are we just giving up on Hosmer?
Greeny.
When do we just give up on Hosmer?
Oh God, Jim Johnson.
All right, let's stop talking about this. I don't want you.
Yeah,
I don't want you to hurt yourself.
team's a mess.
Hey, speaking of guys who are a mess, I only bring him up because he was such an interesting prospect. I mean, he looked so good coming up. What happened to Cameron Maidman? I mean, the guy's just. I know he's not fantasy relevant, but I'm just asking the question: What went wrong with Cameron Maidman's career?
Uh, Injuries, more or less. I mean, he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. I think he's still got decent power for the kind of speed he has, but yeah, he can't stay healthy. And also, I mean, you have the curse of the Padres that you know Gary Templeton put on the team back in the late '70s. So
Gary Templeton.
yeah, and then there was to lift the curse. You had to eat 1,200 donuts before each game, which Tony Gwynn was able to do for many years, but no other player has really been able to.
Hey, remember last week we talked about Game of Thrones, and you said you wanted to be able to talk to me about it. So
Oh, oh my God! But I haven't watched last night.
okay. I listen. I'm only catching up. So we started last week, and in like 7 days, we're halfway through season 2. We've just been doing like 2 episodes a day. So give me another week, and I'll be caught up.
Oh, nice.
What a
Yeah.
great show! Holy cow, is that a good show?
First season was amazing, right?
Oh, so
Is
good.
your wife watching?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so surprising because I feel like a lot of times the like it's like, oh, fantasy, I don't want to watch that, like coming from a girl, and then like Cougs, I was like, you have to watch it. Seriously, I don't like Lord of the Rings and
No,
that,
no, no, me either.
but like it's just so phenomenally good. And there's a new show that I just started watching that you should check out. It's Fargo, based on the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, I heard that is good.
It's amazing. Like I really like I thought it was like, oh, like a bad knockoff of a great movie. Like why would I watch this? I watched the first episode. I'm like I watched the next 4 episodes after all yesterday. That's all I did was watch Fargo and write the roundup.
Yeah, that's your day. You just watch television. That's what you do.
But that was my day. I'm serious.
You know what's funny though about my wife and watching Game of Thrones is she reads like a fantasy novel a week. To me, it means nothing. She keeps looking at me and saying, "You know how many geeks would love a wife that was into fantasy novels?" I'm like, "You can take them."
Yeah, exactly. She's a warlock. She's on the warlock tour.
Hey, I'm gonna give a little bit of tease. Next Monday, so a week from today, we're gonna have a massive announcement. It's one of the grand prizes for the 32 and 32 and 32, the fantasy football tour we're doing this August. For more information, go over to razzballradio.com, click the banner at the top. We got a big prize coming up.
Is it nudes?
No. Well, who knows? You never know. There might be some nudity involved.
There's nudes? Noodes. Are there nudes?
What's a nudes?
Nudes! Nudes! Nakeds!
No, I just gotta watch Game of Thrones for nakeds. No, but really, there's a massive announcement coming up. Also, too, starting next week, next Monday on June 9th, we'll be on the Fantasy Sports Network, finally at 3:30 Eastern every day, buddy. So your face is going out to the world.
Hey!
All right, we're going to wrap it up for today on Razzball Radio. Gray, I really appreciate you joining me.
All right.
You're such a sweetheart. All right, get out of here. We will be back, obviously, tomorrow. And hold on, wait. Gray, did you leave and come back?
I teleported.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow on Tuesday with Sky and the Guru, and I'm working on something for Wednesday. Working on something interesting for Wednesday. It has to do with the MLB draft, which is coming up this weekend. And what's with the MLB draft trying to be like the NFL now, spreading it out over like 3 days? Another one of Bud's great ideas.
Oh, ceiling. This
All right.
time it counts.
What's that?
This time it counts.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us today on Razzball Radio. We will talk to you tomorrow. Razzballers, have a great day.